Hi, this is Maliha from the Site Blogger, and in this video, I'm going to show you how to create workbooks and checklists with Canva. Workbooks, worksheets, checklists, these are very useful because you can use them as opt-in freebies or content upgrades in your blog. Without further ado, let's see how to create some of these worksheets. So right now I am logged into my Canva account. It's a free Canva account and I'm using a Windows machine and also my browser is Chrome. You can use a different browser or you can use a Mac if you want, and that's totally fine, no matter which system you're using, which browser you're using. The steps that I'm about to show you, they are pretty much the same, exactly the same, in fact. So let's start. I am going to assume that you have used Canva before, that you have some working knowledge of how to use this amazing software. So I'm going to skip the basics. I'm just going to assume that you have a Canva account already. The free version works just fine. It's very powerful. So let's start with that. Like I said, I'm already logged in, so I'm going to start with a letter size design. Now, there are various different ways to go about how you want to create a checklist or a workbook. There are different sizes you can try, but I am going to show you for this video, for the sake of brevity, I'm going to show you how exactly I create my workbooks and my checklists that I use on my blog, The Site Blogger. So, in this search box, I am going to type letter. This pulls up a letter design, which is 8.5 inches by 11 inches. This is the US letter size. If you have a different size preference, you can do so. You can create a different size by using this button right here that says Custom Dimensions on top right. But for this one, I'm going to use the letter size. So I'm going to pull up this right here in the search box and I'm going to click this letter. This will open up a new window and this is gonna be a blank design. Now, as you can see, Canva is showing me a bunch of different options right here if you follow my mouse. So Canva is pretty cool. It shows you templates that you can use, but we're not going to use any of these templates. We are going to create a custom design from scratch. The first thing that I like to do is I like to change the name of the design. If you didn't follow me, let's try it again. Over here on top right next to the share button, you have the option to choose or to rename your design. It comes with a default name, but you don't want to use that. So I'm going to type workbook 1. That's going to be my design name. The first thing I want to do is add a title. To add some text, on the left, you have all these different tabs. I'm going to choose the text tab. Now you have different templates for text. Personally, I like to use just one of the three at the top. For this one, I'm going to choose the header, add a heading. By default, Canva places a text area at the middle of the design, which is not where I want my title to be. So I'm going to hover my mouse over this and then left click, hold my mouse, and then move the placeholder somewhere else. As you can see, as I move my mouse, Canva very generously shows some guides and grid lines, which is useful because it kind of helps you position your elements. For example, right now it's showing that I have some margin on top, and then my placeholder text box is at the middle of the design window, the file, the page, sorry. Anyhow, so you can use this. You can use the mouse to change the text box size. For example, if you can see, there's like there are a couple of handles um, at the right and left of the text placeholder. So these are handles you can click with your mouse and then hold and drag to um, widen them or make them smaller. So I want to widen them a little bit, and then I'm going to reposition, make sure that it's in the middle, and then I'm going to name it a sample workbook. Now I want to change the font, like over here. When you have your text box selected, a new panel opens up in your design window where you can change all sorts of things in your text. So you can change the font size, the color of the font or the text. Depending on which font you're using, you may have the option to bolden it, italicize it. You can change the alignment. For example, right now the default is center aligned. You can align it to left or you can keep it centered. I want to keep it centered. You can also, so if you click somewhere else, as you see, those options go away. If you want them back, just simply click on the text box and they will reappear. Now, one of the other options is to make all of the letters uppercase. I want to do that for my title. I want all uppercase letters. I also want to change the font. I do not like the default font that Canva uses sometimes. So for this one, I'm going to use this font called Aileron Heavy. As you can see, the Canva free account comes packed with a bunch of fonts, so that's pretty cool. So one last thing that I want to do is, actually, I'm going to change the font again. I don't think that's the one I want for my title. I want to use, let's see, this one. Okay. I also want to change the font size and I want it to be a little bigger, maybe 56. Yep, I like that one. I also want to change the letter spacing. See over here, you have this option that says spacing. If you click on it, it has a few different options. For example, letter spacing, line height, etc. I am going to change the letter spacing. I'm going to have a little more spacing. So you can do so by using this handlebar, or you can directly change the size over here. So for example, right now it's 78. I think I want 85. Yep, that looks pretty good. All right, I also want to change the color. So I want to come here, change the text color, and I actually have some brand colors picked out, which I personally like. So I am going to have this color right here. Yep. All right. So that's the title. So now I'm going to add some more text. Like if you're creating a workbook or worksheet, you have some prompts, for example, like you have a question or a text prompt sort of thing that you want your readers to do. So for that, I am going to add a little bit of body text. Make sure that you're on the text panel and then click on add a little bit of body text. Once again, it's adding a text box in the middle of your page, which is not where I want it. So I'm going to click it, left click, hold my mouse, hold the button, and then drag and then reposition. All right, I'm also going to change the width of the text box. And then I'm going to align the text. Like I said before, its default is center aligned, but I want it left aligned right now. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm also going to change the percentage. Right now the view percentage is at 46%. It's kind of small. I don't see everything very well, so I'm going to change it to 75. It's really simple. As you can see, at the bottom right corner, you have this option that says zoom. And if you click on it, it shows you all the different zoom options available. So right now, it's showing 75% of the original size. I'm going to change the font again, and this time I'm going to go and click Aileron Regular. That's the one I'm going to use for all my texts. I am also going to change the color, and once again I'm going to use the blue color that I selected before. And I am going to change what it says over here. Let's say write down. Okay, sorry. You have to delete what's already there first. And now write down name of your blog. Let's just say that that's one of my prompts for my worksheet. Or I want the name to be a little longer. Write down the possible names for your blog that you'd like to use. Okay. And again, I am going to click on it and change some of the other things. Let's just say that I want to play around with the spacing this time. Okay, so 93 is too much. I think I want to go with 45. Yeah, that seems about right. I like that one. Also, just to demonstrate, I am going to click and select all the text, and then I'm going to come up here and click bold. I'm just trying to show you what it does. It just makes your text bold. But right now I don't want that, so I'm going to revert back, click on bold again so that it goes back to being the regular width. And now I'm going to create a text box. So you know how in worksheets or workbooks you have text boxes where people can write down their answers and things like that. So to do that, I'm going to go to Elements, and then I am going to go to Shapes. If you scroll down, you'll see an option for shapes. Over here, it's only showing me 4 different shapes, but if you click on all, if you follow my mouse, here's where it says all. If you click on it, it shows you all the shapes available. I'm going to choose a shape that has a border alongside. Actually, no, that's not the one I want. I want this one, a slightly gray one. Yep, that's the one I want. So you see what happened? As soon as I clicked it, it added a shape to my document, and it kind of took up the whole design almost. So it's pretty big, and that's not what I want. I want it to be a lot smaller. So to make it smaller, when you click on it, you see all these handles that show up. You see handles at the corners, at the 4 corners. You also see handles on the sides, on 4 sides. So what I'm going to do is, it has a pretty thick border, and I don't want the border to be so thick. So to make the border thinner, what you do is you click one of the corners and then you drag it inward so that it becomes smaller. So you see, what happens is that when you drag it, the shape remains the same, but the percentage or the scale of all of it it just scales down. So you do this until you reach a point where you like the border size, and then you click on one of these handles on the sides to make it wider. So that's just something that, Canva, you can't really change the border unless you scale it down first. That's how you decide how wide the border is going to be, and then you use the side handlebars to make the entire box larger or shorter or whatever have you. So I want the box to be just so, and make sure that it's centered. I also want this text box to align with the box that I just created, the text box. So I'm going to click on it, hold it, and then reposition. All right, that's looking much better. I also want to change the color. So you see, once you click on that box, you see on top you have two options. The white is the border, and then the dark gray is the fill color. So I'm going to change both of them. I want the border to be that blue that I'm using, and I want the fill color to be something very light, something like that. I also don't want the box to be that big, so I'm going to hold down on the handlebar and then drag it upwards so it's shorter, like that. And that's it. You have a question or a text prompt, and then you have a text box. I need to position it again so it aligns right there. See how Canva is kind of showing me already that it's aligned. If you see it, there's like this magenta dotted line that's kind of guiding me along. And that's it. So to fill it up with more text boxes and questions, you can copy and paste the whole thing. And to do that, you can select both of those elements, and then you see over here on top, this option shows up that says copy. So if you click on copy, it automatically copies the whole thing, and then you can just drag it down. The other way to copy and paste is you select the whole thing with your mouse, and then in a Windows machine, you click Control plus C to copy, and then Control plus V to paste it. And then you reposition it. In a Windows machine, you will click Command plus C and then Command plus V to paste it. And that's it. That's how you create a workbook. If you have more, like if one page is not enough, you can create a new page by clicking on Add a New Page over here. Or if you just want to, so what happens when you click on Add a New Page is it adds a new blank page. However, if you want to just copy the page that you have already created, you come up here on top of the page and say, and click Copy Page, and then it clicks, and then it just creates another page that looks exactly the same as the one you have created.